Greetings, everyone. My name is Tony Forman. Welcome back, everybody. It's another episode of the Tony Forman Show, TFS, coming back to you with all the news, all the business that we need to be taken care of so that we know that our community is safe. Today, I have one of the most important people in Mecklenburg County, my commissioner, and Mecklenburg's commissioner, the chair of the commissioners, county commissioners, Mark Jerrell. Welcome, Commissioner. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Hey, thanks, man. And look, yes, you're right. I am your commissioner. That's right. So I'm glad you put that out there.
That's right. And I love the fact that I have a person that represents me and represents my values, that represents the values of the disenfranchised, those individuals that are not as fortunate as others. And when we have somebody that is in government that understand and can be compassionate to those that are not that fortunate, don't get the information, don't know how to get the information. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to invite you here, so that you could talk to us about the role that you play now, the role that you played before. We can start with that. And now, as the chair of the county commissioners, on what level are you now in terms of the level that you were on when you were just a commissioner? I'm quite sure it's a more congruent level when it comes to government.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great segue. I mean, number one, moving from, I started as elected to District 4 as the District 4 rep, and I'm still the District 4 rep. Subsequently moved to the vice chair, and now been fortunate to be elected by my colleagues to be the chair. And really what that means is that, one, there is just a greater responsibility. Everywhere I go, I'm really representing Mecklenburg County in a different way. So while I'm still focused on District 4, there's a broader scope now where I'm the representative and primary advocate for Mecklenburg County and our needs and what that looks like, in the broader community, the region, the state, and the country. Also, that means I run the meetings and set the agenda. I make appointments to committees. Also, essentially have to sign emergency declarations as well. I mean, we know we're a major community in this country, and sometimes we have to sign those declarations, and so I have to be ready to do that and to make sure that the citizens and residents of Mecklenburg County are protected.
Could you please expound a little bit on those emergency declarations that you have to sign? I'm quite sure most of our listeners don't know what that is or have an idea.
Yeah, so if you think about things like during COVID, where these emergency declarations came down from the governor, and then emergency declarations from public health, we've got to sign those orders. And so if you think about it, there's a disaster in the community, and Mecklenburg County has to have a response. So it's connected to emergency management. The mayor has the same powers as the board chair. But that's the same thing. We have to sign those emergency declarations. And so it's just, God forbid, we have to be prepared for when disaster does happen, because we know that that's what, it's going to happen, whether it's a hurricane, whether it's a public health crisis or some other crisis that we have to address within the community.
So, being that the mayor also has the same responsibilities in terms of an emergency,
For
how
the city
do
of
the
Charlotte, let me
for the
say for
city?
the city, we as the chair, I have a responsibility for the entire county, which
Okay,
incorporates the city and the 6 towns.
but when it comes to the declaration, to the emergency, is that something that y'all conjointly work on in terms of the city and the county?
Not necessarily. Well, let me put it this way: we work on it from emergency management teams. Work jointly with the city, the county, and the towns
Right.
to make sure that our response is adequate for this county, and also essentially the region. So when you think about what happened in Western North Carolina, we were able to help with that response, and certainly the coordination between the city, the county, and the towns are crucial.
Can you, for our audience edification, can you tell us how many towns are in Mecklenburg County?
Yeah, so we've got 6 towns. If you think about the towns in the south, you're going to think Pineville, Mint Hill, Matthews. Then you've got 3 towns in the north with Huntersville, Cornelius, and Davidson. Then, of course, you have the city of Charlotte.
The congressman lives in Mint Hill.
Okay, okay.
He's part of our county,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
his son, former Albany representative and the GA up there, was Darrowtown, who
Okay,
now works for Mayor Hochul in New York. So
okay.
it's yeah, that's one of the reasons why we wanted you. Uh, we needed you to be more clear to come on this show, and uh, we need to educate our constituency of Mecklenburg County on a lot of the things that they don't. A lot of our people don't go. No matter who they are, they don't come to the meetings. They don't know about the meetings.
Right.
They vote and they don't participate. So letting them know the information that you're imparting upon all of us, it helps. It educates them. And when they go to vote, they're more conscious about who they're voting for, what they're voting for, and how important it is for them to vote for the right people that are running in the local elections. And you, sir, are the epitome of an official in our county, and we love you for that.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Comes with a lot of responsibility, though. I
Yeah,
mean, to
yeah,
get folks like yourself to support, co-sign, and back individuals like myself. And there are a lot of people doing some really great work. It's never lost on me that I stand on the shoulders of so many people who come before me and
yes,
have made sacrifices to allow me to do this work. And I want to do it with honor. I want to do it with integrity. I want to do it in a way that delivers results. And it's not easy work.
yeah.
It's
Kudos,
slow. You know.
kudos to all of the above. It's important that when someone seeks political office and gets voted in, uh, that you start at a level like how you started. You understand? You just don't go, if you get elected because of popularity, but you don't know anything about the job. One of our friends ran for county commissioner, and the question was asked of him, what does a commissioner do? And he didn't have an answer. So that's the point that I'm making is you need, it's, you become a better, not just commissioner, but a better leader when you go through the steps to get to a certain level, because then you're making decisions that matter, decisions that would affect a lot of people, and the constituency most of the times don't even know what the responsibility is. Now, excuse me. One of the problems that a lot of people in our community have is that the elected officials only come around when it's time for election. And I often tell people that I have a problem with the fact that, I mean, I'm not going to name any names. Uh, some of our elected officials don't do no town hall meetings, don't bring the information to the community. Like one of the big ones that you did was the one over in Hickory. You remember that? But you
Mhm.
had Anderson and Sneed. I forgot who the other person was. That's
Martin and
important.
Elena.
Yeah, yeah, that's important. And I'm glad and I always boast about that and the other things that I've seen you do, feeding the community. Um, just the engagement, the uh, how approachable you are. How if somebody calls you, you make sure that you call them back. I've called elected officials, man, and I got to get on them like, you represent me. What's going on? But you're always reachable. You always respond. And that's commendable. That's a level of leadership that a lot of people, it's like wisdom. You don't learn it, you acquire it through your work. And you're that type of man. You know how they say that I'm that girl, you're that man. Okay, everybody. It's time to take a break. We got to pay the bills. So we'll be back in a few minutes with Commissioner, no, with Chair, uh, Mr. Jerrell.
Hey everyone, we want to thank you for watching the Tony Forman Show, the new Tony Forman Show. You can catch us on your favorite audio podcast or video podcast platform every Wednesday at 10 in the morning Eastern Time. That's when we drop. So once again, thank you for watching the new Tony Forman Show on your Cannis Media Network. Hey everyone, I hope you're enjoying the Tony Forman Show. I also want to remind you that our anchor show, Coffee and Conduce with Jenny and I, drops every Wednesday. Right, Jen?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the things. We got some new exciting shows coming to you this year with Cannis Media, and we want to definitely promote this. We got Tony Forman and another host, and exciting new looks at especially the Latinx Hispanic community. They're very relevant to that, just like coffee originally was. And tune in, check them out. It won't hurt, and see what you think. Give us some feedback.
All right, so continue to enjoy the Tony Forman Show, but also jump over and watch Jenny's show on Two Queers in a Truck, and also our show, Coffee and Conduce. Bye, y'all.
Mm-hmm. Bye, y'all.
Welcome back, Commissioner. We're here with Commissioner Mark Jerrell, the chair of the County Commissioners, and we've had a very good conversation, informative conversation with him, and we're going to continue with the Commissioner. Commissioner?
Enjoying it. I'm ready. I'm ready.
So, Commissioner, let's hear a little bit about you, because you're one of those cool, calm, and collected individuals.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
You and I can hang out together, man. And I just want to delve a little bit into, not to get too personal, into your personal background. How did you come to get an affinity for community work, for helping the people?
Yeah, well, it's something that I think was just embedded in my DNA. I think everybody has their calling, their purpose, and I've been blessed and fortunate to find mine, which is this work of public service and community work. And I didn't know if it would necessarily play out in the as an elected but I can tell you from a very young age, my mother and I would have, pretty, my mother made sure that I kept my eye on what was happening, particularly nationally, locally to an extent. But she was very engaging in asking me questions, particularly probing questions around what I understand now is how government impacts the lives of people, how policy impacts the lives of people. And that always intrigued me. And so as I got older, I just gravitated to always listening to what was happening in the world and politics and giving my opinion more. Even when I didn't know anything, I still had an opinion and on every and anything. And then, eventually was challenged to say, okay, you've got a lot of opinions. What are you going to do about it? And that caused me to start to volunteer on campaigns and do a lot of grassroots work. Eventually, that led to being tapped to lead campaigns as a campaign manager. That led into consulting work and was fairly successful with that. Had some fairly successful outcomes, leveraging strategy and data, but eventually I really felt the pull that I was not giving all of my talent, and it was time to use and leverage my talent in a different way, and decided to run for office and was blessed to achieve that outcome.
Yes, I've been with you part of that way. I remember when you worked with Malcolm, when he ran against the Congresswoman.
I wasn't a part of that. I didn't have anything to do with that.
Wasn't you working with him on some level? Oh, I see. I got you. I'm sorry, my brother. But that's when I met you. I was working on the Congresswoman campaign with what was that young man's name? He took a job on, I think it was in California. What's his name? The young light skinned man.
Yeah. I know he's of course, because you asked. I love, but I want to clarify one thing. I've told the Congresswoman, and first off, Malcolm is my brother, and I love him. I love him to death.
Yeah, same here.
I love him. Congresswoman, I have. She is the gold standard of this business, right? And I've told her many times that I should have called the cops on her the way she beat me down in that campaign.
I love it.
It was shameful. Tony, it was shameful how she beat me up in that campaign. I mean, hey, listen, I got beat really bad, man. But she's lucky I didn't call the cops on her on that one.
Something that I learned in my 7 years on Earth, that sometimes that's what it takes to make you better. Take it from me. You learn by doing. That's part of the history of Mark Jerrell. Commissioner. And we got bigger plans. So it's just, I'm a politician, so certain things I'm not going to say. So, but we need you out there, Mark. God has put you in a position of leadership, a position to help people, of empathy, because you're one of the people, and people have to understand that. I mean, you're not one of those that was born with a golden spoon in your hand. We come from the same place. And that's even better, because you could feel what people that don't have feel. People that are struggling, people that need Medicaid and Medicare, but they're trying to get rid of now or pilfer it. You're in a very unique position. And I personally am thankful that you are where you are. Just like I'm thankful where the Congresswoman is.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
you know,
Absolutely.
I would never vote against her. I don't care what happens, because I want to see somebody like me where she's at. You know, she put the money back in the HBCUs.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and you know it's not going to be signed back in.
Right. Well, that's what I say. She's the gold standard. There's no question.
Yes.
You know, and I take every advantage to learn and listen. You know, and she's definitely the one that I really feel like you know, is to model after. She's someone obviously who has the credentials, but you know, all of the things that we need to, I would say, that allow someone that wants to be a policymaker for them to be effective. She delivered what she delivered in the face of not being in the majority, having a Republican president to back her. You know, it just speaks volumes. You know, and I can personally, I can only hope to, you know, follow in those footsteps and achieve, you know, if I can achieve a fraction of what she's done, you know, I still would consider this life of service a worthy endeavor.
Yeah. It's something that comes with education, commitment.
Yes.
It comes with time, and that means it comes with age. Fortunately enough, you're not a total novice, but you're on your way, and you will acquire the wisdom that is necessary to become an elevated elected official, or server of the people. Mecklenburg County is fortunate to have someone like you. And I'm not just giving you bullcrap accolades. It's what you work for, what you deserve. And a lot of people know that you're there, that we have someone that we can trust, that they could go to. And for that, I'm fortunate that you're my friend, you know, and a friend of our producer, Christian Connell, and many others that need to understand that you do much more now as a chair than you did. That responsibilities, that is, I'm sorry. That you have more responsibilities now as a chair.
Without a doubt. There's no, Tony, there's no question about it. I mean, it really is. But, you know, let me say this. I mean, because you really said, you know, you've been more than kind, and you've always been a tremendous supporter, and also someone that will hold me accountable as well. Christian, the same for him. And, you know, but I'll tell you this, you know, I'm really the fortunate one. I'm the fortunate one. This journey has allowed me to meet people like yourself, meet people like Christian, people that, you know, are not in this thing for accolades, but really want to help, want to make a difference, wants to give voice to issues where, you know, there are people that, you know, can't articulate some of these issues in the way where it connects to policy. And you all and so many others in our community, man, I think about all the people that have been blessed, you know, to be able to touch, and people like yourself who pour into me. And pour into me in ways that make me expand my thought process, make me think about things in another way, always make sure that I'm not forgetting the least of these. And so, you know, those things, you know, I just say that to say that I'm really the fortunate one to be able to represent a county like Mecklenburg. And I'm also happy to still be the District 4 rep as well.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. We're going to take our last break, and we'll be right back.
Hey everyone, we want to thank you for watching the new Tony Forman Show on your favorite audio or video podcast platform. Every Wednesday at 10 in the morning Eastern Time it will drop. So once again, thank everyone for watching the new Tony Forman Show, brought to you on your Cannis Media Network.
Welcome back, everybody. We're still here with our Commissioner, Mr. Mark Jerrell, Chair Commissioner. Commissioner, we're back now, and we don't have much time, but I have a couple of questions to ask you concerning what's going on in the federal government now. How does it affect the state, and how does it trickle down to Mecklenburg County?
Yeah, I think some of the decisions that recently we've seen with the passage of this this budget out of the House, with all these proposed tax cuts, I think it'll definitely be an impact to the states, and which will ultimately impact the county, particularly as you think about things like Medicaid and Medicare and our health and human services, probably public health as well. And so there are still a lot of question marks. We're not sure exactly how much is going to be cut, but it looks like there's going to be a cut to education, which again, I think some of these things are just moral issues more than anything else. It's not political, but it's moral. And I think there's some places where we have to draw the line and take a stance, and say certain things are non-negotiable. And with that in mind, I am concerned about the residents of Mecklenburg County, particularly our seniors, particularly those that rely on these fixed benefits to be able to survive, particularly when you couple that with where we are with the economy and the price of just eggs, cheese, and just the bare essentials. And so I think there is a real problem when we're making these types of cuts, and the impact that'll have on the whole community, but in particular the most vulnerable. And a lot of times it disproportionately will impact people of color. And that is a major concern for me.
Question. You just spoke about something that I'm not a big egg eater, but there are a lot of our people that are, especially our kids. Is there a gauge as to how many of our farmers produce eggs?
I don't know the answer to that. I'm not sure. I know that one thing that I can tell you is that local farmers are folks that we certainly want to be able to support. We want them to be able to thrive in this economy, and we're going to do everything that we can to continue to support them. And then when you break that down to our Black farmers and farmers of color, it is very important for us to continue to focus and to really mitigate the disproportionate impact it'll have on them.
I'm a visionary, and I like to find, and I go by the words of Malcolm X. You're either part of the problem or you're part of the solution. If you're not part of the problem, then you are the solution. So I always look for solutions. And what I'm talking about is Wendy Mateo has a farm and she sells eggs.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not expensive. How many farmers can we find? This is just me talking. Can we find that we could encourage supermarkets like Walmart to buy from them and sell to the people of Mecklenburg County for a lesser price? You know what I'm saying? It's just a thought. Because the whole idea is that if they're not doing it, then we've got to do it. But it's just something that you could think about. And I will talk to Wendy Mateo to see if there's an association like of farmers, not just Black farmers, but because the more the merrier, the merrier, the cheaper. And we've got to come up with ideas that conducive to the livelihood of our constituency. But I'm going to speak to her about that, and I'll send you an email on your government email, so it'll be recorded that we're working on that. You never know what we'll come up with.
Right.
With that, is there anything in particular that you would like to share with us at this moment? We're almost wrapping up.
Yeah, so I always want to take a opportunity to lift up what's going on with the board. We've established our priorities for the upcoming fiscal year, which is really important. I think those priorities match what the community needs are. In particular, when you look at educational attainment, environmental stewardship, workforce development, we also have added a focus on seniors. Economic development in addition to that. And so, and we do all of those things, Tony, and viewers we have a cross-cutting factor that we use is reducing racial disparities. And so even everything that you see coming out of DC, I just want our community to understand that we haven't abandoned our values. We are still going to fight. Things may have to look differently for us to move forward and maintain a level of funding. But we're still going to keep our core values, and we need all of us to come together, and it's really not the time for pointing fingers or different factions. We need unity to the extent that we can. Unity doesn't come without accountability, and I know that, but I want everyone to know that the Board of County Commissioners would still maintain our commitment to all of those items that I mentioned in priority, all those things that we're responsible for. And we're not going to change that moral fabric and the moral fiber of who we are.
Thank you, Commissioner. I like to share with our communities that though you guys are working hard to continue our core values to exist, it cannot be done without the support of the community. It's not a us thing, it's a we thing.
That's right.
And the community needs to understand that you guys need our support in order to continue the good work. Thank you so much, Commissioner. I really appreciate you, man. You look good on camera, man.
Not as good as you, but thank you, brother. Thanks for having me.
I love you, man. I love you.
I'll be back, man. Let me just take this time to say thank you so much. The show is amazing. I'm tuning in as much as I can. So I want everybody to tune in, but thank you so much for having me. This is a great opportunity for us to educate, for us to learn, and for us to come together. So appreciate you, my brother.
Thank you, Commissioner, once again. And to our listening and viewing audience, Tony Forman, the TFS show, is about to sign off, but we want to thank you for your viewership. We want to thank you for allowing us to educate you on issues that matter to you, the community of Mecklenburg County, Charlotte, North Carolina. Thank you. Hey, everybody. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. Thank you for being a part of my world. And we'll see you next week for the show.